Hi, this is Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm sharing a ghost story with you. That's right. A couple of weeks ago, my family and I were driving to San Antonio for the weekend, and I'm always kind of drawn to one ranch along the way. And for whatever reason, I this time was able to kind of connect with a ghost from that ranch. And so I thought, this is really interesting. And I was able to persuade the ghost to kind of journey with me for a little bit so I could connect with his energy and do a video on it, even though he didn't understand videos or anything like that. So this ghost story is about Mike, and he was a cattle rancher, and he lived on a cattle ranch kind of between Houston and San Antonio, kind of off of 90A, so kind of not the I-10 route. We usually kind of take the back roads ourselves. And so this ranch that he was on was one that his dad's family owned. And he passed away. Mike passed away when there was a flood. They were out moving cattle, and I feel like there was like a hurricane or a really bad tropical storm, something like that, that came through and was dropping lots and lots and lots of rain. And they were out there trying to move the cattle further north, or kind of more into the higher, like up on a hill, to get them out of where it was flooding. And he was caught up in some rainwater, and his horse stumbled and kind of flipped over, and it just hit him in the right spot, that it killed him instantly. And he is still very much attached to the land. He wasn't very old when he passed. I want to say probably 18 or 19 years of age. And he gives me two dates. And I think the first one is the date of birth. And so his year of birth is 1899. And then I feel like he also gives me the date of like 1911. And I think that's the date that his younger brother was born. And so he also told me that his parents were married and had him, and then his mom passed, and then his dad remarried and had children by his second wife. And so the younger brother was by the second wife, so kind of like a half brother, and was just much younger when this event happened. Mike loved being around the cattle, loved being out in the outdoors, loved working the cattle ranch. It kind of just suited his energy really, really well. And I kind of get that he kind of passed away in like 1916, 1917, somewhere around in there. I don't even know if those numbers add up or not. I just feel like that's the time frame that he was talking about. But Mike has several messages. He thinks it is really fun to watch the big cars go past. Of course, when he passed, cars were all very small, and most people still rode horses a lot, especially where he lived out in the country. But he's like, semis really fascinate him. And he loves to see how fast the cars go, because way back then, cars did not go that fast. And they were really kind of unreliable, which is kind of an interesting part that for him that he loves. He is, like I said, still very much attached to the land. It is still in his original family through lineage, or so it's been passed through several family members, and is still somewhat intact the way it was when he was alive. His family had a family cemetery on the land, and that's where he was buried, near his mom. And also feel like there's a grandfather buried there, and I feel like the grandfather was buried before he was. his energy just seems to be very sweet and kind. But he does like to spook the horses. They do allow the field where he passed, they do allow the horses to kind of graze in there. And he does like to spook the horses, just kind of like, I get to control what they're doing kind of energy, and keep them a little bit on edge. One of the things I will tell you that Mike has really expressed a lot of interest in is he is not quite ready to go up to heaven. So even though he passed, he had a pretty average life. Kind of, like I said, grew up on the cattle ranch and kind of just dealt with cattle and horses his whole life. Yet he still isn't quite ready to go. I asked him, I said, are you ready to kind of go on heaven? Are you ready to kind of go back up there and kind of see your mom and see your family that's passed? And he was like, not yet. I'm just having too much fun. And so it's kind of interesting that he's really enjoyed being around us, kind of learning from us, and kind of keeping a track of what's going on, who's coming and who's going up and down the road, and kind of his family, who's there, who's not there. He does not really hang around the family area, kind of the house or anything like that. He was always drawn more to the stables and kind of the field, kind of back in behind there where he passed away. So he kind of deals with that area more than anything else, but he does keep an eye on his family. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.